So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through Canto 35 through the end of Beowulf in kind of like a video lecture. What I have on the screen in front of you is a series of notes that I've taken, and I indicate where it starts or the line in which it starts in your hard copy or the photocopy that you're using. So we're going to start with Canto 35, which starts on line 623. So in the previous, or in the summation in italics up above, before going to battle, Beowulf is kind of telling us about who he was as a person, his kingdom, and kind of his past exploits. So he talks specifically about his lack of fear and his passion for his battles, but he does indicate that he's calm and ready, and he asks his men to stay outside. This is an extended formal speech, but it's almost as if he's giving his own eulogy. He's realizing that he is an old man, that he is moving on beyond kind of human abilities, and realizes that he will come face to face with death. When he enters the cave, he is immediately attacked by the dragon. There's the images of hot fire. The earth shakes. There is God, or the Christian connection, that God is controlling the power of the battle. There is the lines of foreshadowing that says, for the first time in his life, that famous prince fought with fate against him. Fate, obviously, being a pagan ideal, is work. The blade that he has does not work, and he is losing the battle. His weapon fails him. His strength cannot be his kind of sole means for victory, and he realizes that death is around the corner. It's just a few minutes. One of the most important parts is that no one comes to help him. Actually, all of the Geats who are outside run into the woods and hide. This is the opposite of what the Anglo-Saxon culture values. Cowardice or fear is not what their soldiers should exemplify. There is one man that remains, and that is Wiglaf. And he will prove to be kind of the support that Beowulf needs. Starting on line 714 is Canto 36. There's this description that he was Swedish once, so that he came from Sweden and found safety or a home in Geatland. Perhaps Beowulf had granted him some kind of clemency at some point. He knows in his heart that he has to help Beowulf. There is the description and lineage of the father giving regarding the weapons. His importance is discussed because we have to know that we have to make the assumption that he will be the next leader of Geatland. He also gives an extended formal speech to those hiding in the woods, calling the other men out for their cowardice and that they have failed Beowulf, presenting that kind of shameful behavior, but also kind of maybe rallying them to come and help as well. Wiglaf articulates that he would rather die than be seen a coward. So for the Anglo-Saxon listener, they're okay with the fact that, maybe Beowulf will die, but Wiglaf's a good guy. He would rather die than be seen as a coward. We could see ourselves, being happy with him as a leader. He runs into the cave screaming for Beowulf, and upon kind of hearing Wiglaf's yells of encouragement, he begins to fight back. It's like this pep talk works. But as we end Canto 36, the dragon drives its tusks into Beowulf's neck. And we know from common information that all dragons' tusks are poisoned. So we know that this is kind of the fatal injury for Beowulf. So the next couple of cantos are some more details about what is actually in italics at the end of Canto 36, so in between lines 773 and 775. So I'm going to quickly go through what happens. And when Beowulf needs him most, Wiglaf is there. This indicates more kind of indirect characterization. He actually cuts the firebox out in the neck of the dragon, and Beowulf tries to slice the dragon in half. So together they defeat the dragon, but the venom from the dragon tusks is slowly killing Beowulf. As he's dying, he tells Wiglaf who he's leaving his armor to and his treasure throne. He's kind of describing his will. Beowulf expresses how proud he is that he was a good ruler and a good warrior, that he never killed anyone in his family, which would be a direct reference to the story of Cain. And then he can die happy, although he doesn't have any heirs to his throne, which is kind of his one regret. So we can make a prediction that when he's saying this to Wiglaf, he is going to essentially bestow the kingdom to Wiglaf. In episode 38, which is still, episode 38 begins on line 775. Beowulf then asks Wiglaf to kind of, this is like kind of a weird transition we talked about. Sometimes things don't make sense, but to kind of re-enter the cave and bring the pile of treasures to Beowulf, the dragon's treasure. And the question is, why would he want to see this treasure? We have to remember that this is kind of an indication of what he's finally earned by defeating the dragon. He has earned the dragon's treasure. So it's almost like this is his purpose or point in dying. Wiglaf wakes Beowulf to show him the treasure. When he does that, Beowulf, like I said before, believes that he sold his life for this treasure, or this is the only reward that he gets from defeating the dragon. He asks Wiglaf to assure that the Geats build a giant tomb or a tower on the cliffs of the sea that can be seen out into the ocean. So on the edge of Geatland, he wants a giant kind of tower built that would indicate kind of who he was, and that would show his greatness to all that enter Geatland. Beowulf gives Wiglaf his armor, his mail shirt, and necklace, jewels, and his throne, meaning Wiglaf is his heir. And upon Beowulf's death, Wiglaf will become king of Geatland. Beowulf dies, and his soul flies to heaven, or so indicated by the narrator. So we have to make a prediction, and Wiglaf has now watched his greatest friend and his leader die. He has now been handed the throne. Now he has to deal with those Geats who abandoned Beowulf when he needed him the most. So this is more episodes 39 through, sorry, this is making you a little seasick, 42 is the summary that is between lines 842 and 843. So it's only kind of 2 lines in italics, but it actually covers 4 cantos. So in Canto or episode 39, Wiglaf is left alone watching Beowulf's dead body. The dragon is killed as well. He's cut in half. Beowulf's bravery and strength is on display. No one else could have killed the dragon, although we as the audience realize that Wiglaf helped him. The cowards then come out of the woods, and they realize that they're going to have to follow Wiglaf. And Wiglaf attacks them right away and says that they will be punished for betraying Beowulf. He says that Beowulf has given you titles and treasures and really boosted your kind of place in society. How could they possibly leave him alone to die and not help him? He's frustrated or disappointed that they ran as soon as the danger was real. Wiglaf takes no credit for helping Beowulf, which, as for the reader and the Anglo-Saxon listener, is a good attribute of a future leader. He then punishes them, and he takes away all of their treasures, all of their title, and they will have nothing but their name. And their name will now be tarnished. So not only is he kind of crippling them through their status and their wealth, but he's also punishing their family as well. And then in episode or Canto 40, Wiglaf orders a messenger to return to the town to tell the others that Beowulf is dead. Most of this episode is told through the messenger's kind of speech to the waiting Geats. And there's kind of this belief that, or the society is now describing that Beowulf isn't here to protect us any longer. So they believe that the Franks and the Frisians are going to kind of attack because they're going to be left vulnerable. They also believe that the Swedes will attack based upon these kind of past battles and what the Geats have done in the past. So episode 40 or Canto 40 really describes kind of the impact on society that Beowulf's death has caused. In episode 41, it's kind of like a flashback to kind of these 2 bands of Geats fighting the Swedes. So I'm actually going to stop here for 1 second, and I'm going to make a second video. So we're just going to pause this.